Good evening, everybody. My name is Stocke, and welcome to Creepy Casino, the game where I hit random pasta on the Creepy Pasta Wiki, and we decide if it's a jackpot, a I don't know, I guess something not horrible would qualify as a jackpot. It might be something that, you break even, you don't really lose anything from the journey, or, a total crapshoot, you know? You just lost it all, and lost wages. Can't do anything about it. Okay, so... Random pasta, here we go. What's gonna be our first story? Okay, our first story is my new best friend. Do you every off to off to a great start? Do you every have the feeling the someone or something is watching you everywhere you go? Well, that was the feeling I got when I met my new best friend. I was about 12 at the time and in school. I was one of those kids known as the quote unquote loser or quote unquote nerd and stuff like that. Nobody ever talked to me because they thought I was weird. Okay, so when I met my new friend, I was amazed. School had started a few weeks ago, so kids were still buzzing about. Classes went by, I ate lunch, and school was over. I grabbed my book bag and walked outside the school doors, walked down the steps, and started on the sidewalk. Now, to get to my house, you had to pass by a forest. I had been told never to go by the forest because children disappear there when they walked by there. What a grand place to put a school. You'd think, okay, whatever. You'd think like some fucking police officers would like be investigating that or something, but no. Okay, let's just leave a school, probably either a grade school or a middle school or something, right next to the fucking forest of lost children. What the hell? I had been told to never go. Okay, I already read that. I always thought that was a bunch of crap, so I went by the forest anyway. I mean, yeah, that's probably pretty typical behavior of a 12-year-old, if I'm honest, so moving on. Passing the forest, I saw a little girl sitting on a bench just outside the forest. I paid no attention to her until she said my name. Allie. I froze completely. How did she know my name? Why was she talking to me? All of these questions were frolicking through. Okay, first of all, wrong through. Second of all, frolicking. Frolicking through, wrong through again, my little head. I turned around slowly. The girl was about my age, had dark black hair, and had on a white dress. Her hair looked wet question mark? Isn't that the girl from The Ring? You know that movie about the possessed videotape or whatever, you watch it and then you have 7 days to live. Anyway, I guess you could say she was very pale. She looked kind of like a ghost. Yes, I replied. I was kind of freaked out. Number one. Number one, because someone was actually talking to me. That's a reason to freak out, I guess. I don't know, I probably shouldn't say anything. People have social anxiety quite often nowadays. Number two, this girl looked very creepy. And number three, and I should say it's not actually writing out the word number, it's just like a pound sign and then the actual numerical symbol for 1, 2, and 3 that, whatever. Number 3, I had never seen this girl before in my life. Okay. I am new in town, and I know nothing about it. Would you like to show me around and come to my house? She said. Uh, well, I suppose she asked, not so much said, since that sentence ended with a question mark, but whatever. She paused a lot while saying that, like she couldn't breathe or something. Oh, I'm sorry, I guess I should have read that with the voice of Stevie from Malcolm in the Middle. Now, I was very protective of myself when I was little. What the fuck? So I wasn't sure if I should have went with this girl or not. I shouldn't have because it would cause a big mistake. Link is in the description to this particular pasta if you care to read this for yourself, because I swear, yeah, I've tripped over my words a couple of times, but it's largely this story's fault. Anyway, but I knew that if she tried to harm me, I would defend myself, so I thought, fuck it, I'll go. So I said alright, and the girl smiled. I asked what her name was, and she said Taylor. Taylor Madison. Valerie Hudson. Taylor's house was in the other direction of my house. As we were walking, Taylor told me her parents would be visiting her aunt's house for a few weeks, so she was there alone in her house. Red flags already, kid, but whatever. I thought it was weird to leave your kid alone in the house, but okay. Oh, okay, fair enough. I guess they addressed that it was already getting strange. We arrived at her house about 10 to 15 minutes later. Her house was so beautiful. It had been recently built that year because I had never seen it before. Logic. Okay. We walked inside and automatically went to her okay. Automatically went to her room. We didn't play dolls or any of that crap. We just talked. I started to think we would become very good friends, but I shouldn't have met her that day. I shouldn't have went by the forest that day. After we got done talking, I said bye and ran home. My parents would be worried sick. I guess what they were. Oh, sorry, I misread that. And guess what they were. Where were you, Allie? We were worried sick, my mom yelled. My parents were very overprotective. That must be why I was so protective of myself. Okay. I met a new friend today, Mom. She was so nice, and I went to her house. It was so fun. I'm sorry, it won't happen again, I said. You'll never go to a friend's house again. Fantastic. End of story. Except no. My mom squinted at me thinking, my mom knows when I lie, and she knew I wasn't lying. Did you meet her at the forest, Allie? My mom said angrily. I sighed. Yes, dot dot dot. I met her at the forest. I'm sorry, dot dot. I said with sorrow. My mom and dad gasped. Gasped. Okay, that's a bit of an overreaction, I'd say. You know to never go to the forest. Don't go there again, okay? You promise me? My parents scolded. Yes, yes, I promise. But dot dot dot. What's so bad about the forest? I asked. I mean, I never really knew why the forest was so bad. I know kids disappeared, dot dot dot, but maybe they just disappeared. What the fuck logic is that? Disappearing is not a good thing in and of itself, okay? You could be, like, you know, lodged in like a pipe, like a lead pipe or something, like a sewer grate. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, but yeah, you might be alive, but you'd still be disappeared and you would probably starve to death eventually. Why am I even explaining this? Whatever. Anyway, my parents looked at each other. If dot 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 this happens again, we will tell you why. Just dot dot go to bed, my father said. I nodded and slept like a baby that night. Why would they wait for him to do something wrong, or her, I guess, for her to do something wrong before explaining why it's wrong? Parenting 101, ladies and gents. Each day I went to my friend's house. I didn't go to the forest because my parents said not to. We talked and laughed and smiled and all that stuff. Okay. One day my friend told me to meet her at the forest. I told her I wasn't allowed, but she demanded me. Dot dot dot. I said yes. We went to the forest and sat on the bench. I asked her a question. Taylor, what is so bad about this forest? My parents tell me not to come here, but why? Do you know? She nodded and smirked. I'm sure your parents will tell you when you get home. I dot 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 need to get home. Oh, sorry, dot 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 home. Good dot 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 bye, Taylor said as she slowly walked down the road. I had to hurry back or my mom would know I went to the forest. She is psychic or something. Alright then. I got home and my parents were waiting for me on the couch. They glared at me for some time until I confessed. Okay, I am sorry, Mom and Dad. My friend Taylor told me to meet her there. I'm sorry, I said, scared for my life. What kind of abusive parents would make a kid that scared? Oh, and the next sentence, my parents would kill me. That escalated quickly. My parents looked shocked for some reason. What's dot 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 wrong? I questioned. Who did you say your friend was, Taylor? Taylor Madison, my mom screamed. I flinched and nodded. My mom grabbed my arms and sat me down on the couch. What she was about to tell me would scar me for life. It's gonna be one hell of a story, isn't it? My mother basically told me that a long time ago, my friend Taylor went down to the forest when she was 12. It started to rain while Taylor was sitting on the bench. My car went by on the road while Taylor was walking back home. She got ran over by a car and was pronounced dead. The myth about her was that she would meet kids outside of the forest, be really nice and become their best friend, and later kill them by the forest. That was why so many kids disappeared around here. My mom said she knew Taylor before she died. This freaked the shit out of me. It made sense, though, since Taylor was wet and looked pale. She was a ghost. Jinky Scoob. My parents were scared, so we moved later on. The funny thing is, Taylor still follows me to this day. She is attached to me. She was my new best friend, but I see her in the mirrors. She watches me, waits for me. She waits for me to be the next victim on her list. The end. Categories: ghosts. My God. Well, that was a real humdinger for our first target on Creepy Casino. And I have to say, that was a total crapshoot. Well, at least in terms of grammar. But I mean, I've heard some pretty shit stories on the Creepy Pasta Wiki. The overuse of ellipses is pretty evident, especially since I was emphasizing almost every instance of it. The grammar, I mean, that first paragraph alone really caught me off guard. I was not expecting to be walloped with bad grammar immediately off the bat, but then I guess I was just too optimistic about this site. The story itself, mercifully short, admittedly. There was no blood and gore at all, much less in excess. There was no constant mention of cliches like, the color red or the color black. The photo that goes along with it isn't great, but I've definitely seen worse photos to go along with these creepypastas, so you know what, I'm actually going to bump my initial rating up to a break even. We may have lost a little bit of money at the casino, but we didn't go home broke, and that's all you can really ask for from the Creepy Casino at the Creepy Pasta Wiki. I've been your host, Stocke. Hopefully next time around I'll have a co-host and things will be a little bit funnier. But until then, this has been Creepy Casino Episode 1, My New Best Friend. Good night, everybody.